of good vibes out there at Carolina Panthers camp. You know, highlights being made. Bryce Young is a leader. Everybody's excited. I think we have to remind ourselves that Bryce Young and Dave Canales, their relationship is not as good as it could be. And it might not be anybody's fault, but just the ebbs and flows of how their relationship has gone over the last calendar year. It's impossible that they are asking each other to be the best man in their weddings, right? It's just not there. And you wish it was, right? You wish every single coach quarterback relationship was Peyton, meaning Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Right? You wish they all mind melded, but they're not there yet. Do you know I know that? Because Dave Canales benched Bryce Young. And it takes a while to get back to trusting that guy fully, especially when you don't think you were deserving of being benched. And Dave Canales was on with NFL Network yesterday, and he talked about that break in their relationship and how everybody's handled it.
I would say the biggest thing is that he continued to lead throughout that process. I think that he earned a lot of respect from his teammates, from me, that regardless of the situation, he didn't agree with me on the decision not to play him. But he worked, and he kept leading, and he was showing me, this is my team, and he was showing his teammates, you're my guys. And he would stay in front, and he would touch them and talk to them, and then came back in, and then we started to grow together, and then building into that in the off season, the leadership continued, and so I think that was probably the most impressive part to me was, that's a real challenge, and we've seen different situations, different scenarios on teams where, that top pick, is struggling and then can kind of get isolated from their teammates or doesn't feel like, and he just stepped right up and stayed right in it.
He didn't agree with it. Of course not. Be weird if he did. I can't help. I'm going to relate this back to a different conversation that we've had on this show recently. Hearing that, right? He didn't agree with it, but he stayed locked in. Again, Bryce Young is batting 100% or batting 1,000 at everything other than the few games or the 2/3 of his games on the field that he struggled with. Of course, he handled the benching professionally and stayed locked in. He really hasn't missed with any of his conduct or attitude or anything, not since he's entered the public sphere. But I can't help but think, when we were at ACC kickoff, ACC Media Days, we were talking with Cade Klubnik. Okay, Cade Klubnik is the quarterback at Clemson. Some would say a projected top pick in the NFL draft, ACC preseason player of the year, 2-time ACC championship game MVP, on and on. And we talked about, or I brought up, that they accepted transfers for the first time at Clemson. 2 of them, 3 of them, whatever it was. And he kind of went into the idea behind Clemson not taking transfers or taking very few. And he got talking and he got on a roll. And you can go find this. The interview is up on YouTube. And eventually he gets to, after his first year as a starter, after Cade Klubnik's first year as a starter, which was not an overwhelming success, struggled at times. Started talking about the confidence that Dabo Swinney, never wavering in his support of him, gave Cade. He's like, how can you not be super confident going into the next year when you didn't have the season you wanted and the coach never considered benching you, fully supported you, never considered bringing in competition for your job, at every step was saying, you're good, it's your job, you're fine, I believe in you. And then we got to Cade Klubnik's relationship with Dabo, and needless to say, it's a very good one. They text back and forth. They send pictures of each other's vacations. Like they're checking up on each other. That's one way to look at it. And it seemed very positive in their relationship. Now, you can't look at how that one was handled, a player that struggled, that wasn't benched. Matter of fact, the coach was in his ear the whole time saying, don't worry about it, you're good, I believe in you. You can't look at it and say that's good for a relationship without saying if the exact opposite happens is going to be a strain on the relationship. And it wasn't just the decision to bench him. Bryce Young, after 2 games, wasn't playing well. If he gets benched there, and then when Andy Dalton takes over and then gets hurt, Bryce goes back in, starts playing well. If the coach then is fully embracing him, going, oh my goodness, that was great, right? Obviously the reset worked. Now I am fully a believer. That's one thing. But you may not remember this because it's all been washed up in how good the last 3 games of the year were. Dave Canales was doing everything in his power to not name Bryce Young the starter for the next week in the post-game press conference every week.
We're going to take in all the information.
It was like, you just won. He played well. Is he the starter next week? Whoa. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get hasty. We're going to watch the film. We're going to take in all the information. We're going to get together, and then we'll make a decision. That alone would put a strain on a relationship with a quarterback. Because the quarterback's going, I'm playing well. I wrapped my brain around you benching me when I wasn't playing well. But I'm playing well now, and you're still not all in? Whether that's fair or not, that is going to put a strain on the decision-maker/player relationship. It's why, if you go talk to really anyone that's played probably college or above, I would say, I don't know if other sports have it. Anywhere there's like a position coach or an assistant coach assigned to a group of players, so often the position coach has a much, much better personal relationship with the player than like the coordinator or the head coach, because it's perceived as if all the tough decisions are made by the coordinator or the head coach, and the position coach is just there trying to work with you day to day to improve. Right? So for Bryce Young, like, Dave Canales was the decision maker. He runs the offense. He's the head coach. I don't think he was blaming, Dan Morgan or David Tepper, saying like, this is out of my hands, right? I still love you, kid, but I got to do this because I'm being told. It didn't seem like that. Dave owned everything, which is honorable on his part, right? Didn't scapegoat anyone else, but that means, right, the lack of trust goes right back to you. So now they're entering into this year, and I think it's interesting even that Dave Canales is talking about it. Because I'll tell you how most like big old macho locker rooms handle disagreements or lack of trust. I mean, unless it boils to like a physical fight or something, you're just ignoring it. You're just walking in, hey, how's it going? Right? You don't talk about your feelings. I was really hurt by what you did there. Or, I didn't agree with your decisions, and I'm still not fully on board with how you handled it. And no, like you just day by day ignore it until eventually you stop thinking about it. But Dave Canales acknowledging, like, no, you know what? He didn't agree with me, and we're still working on getting back to where we were before that, or we're still working on getting to the best place we can be. It's very modern coaching. I can't see, Bill Parcells ever doing that. Like, oh, me and my quarterback have to work on our relationship after I benched him when he was playing bad last year. Doesn't seem like something Bill Parcells would even, or I mean, name your coach from that era, would even have go through their brain. But that's where the Panthers are. And it is one of the most important relationships on the team, right? It's in what I call the 4 horsemen of the franchise. Quarterback, coach, GM, owner have to be on the same page. And do you know when the ultimate test will come? When they struggle. Right? Preseason, the stakes are low. Right? Everybody's happy. Everybody's optimistic. Everybody thinks, they're going to be great. There's very little kind of adversity and stress right now. What happens when they lose 2 games in a row and Bryce misses a couple throws? That's when you have to be paying attention to how it goes. Does Dave Canales trust Bryce? Does Bryce trust Dave Canales? Right? You don't know if it's built correctly until you put stress on the structure. What if you lose 3 in a row? What if Bryce has 3 turnovers and 2 touchdown passes in a 2-week stretch. Which, by the way, is not good and shouldn't be celebrated.
No.
But good quarterbacks have had much worse two-game stretches.
Oh, for sure.
Where their coach would simply stand by him, and that's our guy. Does that happen? And if it doesn't happen full-throated, does Bryce feel some type of way about it? Those are the moments we have to watch.
I think looking long-term, if it ever gets to the point again where Dave feels like he has to bench Bryce, it's done.
I would 100% agree with that.
It's done. Like you can only you get one chance to come back.
I 100%
one chance
agree
to
with
come
that.
back.
And I think he would get probably one more chance elsewhere to be like a high-level backup. But then, like, I mean, if it looks like it did at the beginning of last year, who cares if he trusts Dave Canales or not? Because he's going to be riding pine. But it's throughout a season, really good quarterbacks have down stretches, and that's where you need your coach to have your back, right? That's where you need, that's where you need your team to have your back. That's where you don't want anybody bringing up how good Andy Dalton's slinging it in practice, right? That's where you need your quarterback to feel supported. And if I'm Dave Canales, and I am all in on Bryce, right? Because, I mean, at least that's what he's telling us, right? Like, Bryce was the starter, we're looking forward to building around. If he really is all in on Bryce, the first mediocre struggles, just the first regular games that aren't great, I'm almost overdoing it with the not worried about him at all. No, Bryce is good. We'll get the offense back on track. It's also a point worth noting that Dave Canales is traditionally the most optimistic person on the planet. You ask that guy about the rain over the weekend, he tells you how excited he was for the opportunity for the team to get ready for the rain just in case they have a game outdoors in the rain this year. They'll now be better prepared for it. Like, he is ultimate lemonade out of lemons guy.
I feel great about playing football right now.
Except for after those games where Bryce played well and he was asked to name him the starter the next game, then all of a sudden he went to like, well, sure, it feels good now, but we got to look for all the other things before we make that kind of decision. So I think it stood out a little bit more. At least to me, it stood out. There were even those, I remember vividly, the post-game like hip hoorays he was doing, where it's like, how about for the offensive line? How about for the running backs? How about for the defense? How about for the receivers? Where's Tommy Trimble? And it was like, you are everybody except Bryce. That's what we're doing right now. I wasn't going to say it like that. But yeah, everybody except Bryce gets a hip hooray. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'd give him the first hip hooray if they win game 1. Beat the Jacksonville Jaguars? How about it for Bryce? Just so everybody knows.